Hello learners, Namaskar. I am Pragya welcoming you in your YouTube channel English Seeker. Today we will see the remaining part or things of the fourth chapter of the book First Flight, and that title is From the Diary of Anne Frank. In the previous video we will discuss about the author and the summary of the chapter. So in this we will discuss about the key points and the character sketch and the chapter in a nutshell. So let's start with the key points. For telling the key points of this chapter, we can say that Annie feels that nobody will be interested in the musings of a 13-year-old schoolgirl as luck would have it, or you can say that it was so ironical that it is the most famous diary in history and has been read by millions around the world in various languages. Annie says that she thinks that paper has more patience than people. For such a young girl, her maturity and understanding are deep. Annie feels she doesn't have a close friend even though she has several friends. She needs a diary because she can't talk about her innermost feelings to her friends. She decides to call her diary Kitty. She just gave her diary the name Kitty. She gets along well with her teachers, but Mr. Keesing is annoyed because Annie talks so much. Annie also gives the best quotation about the teachers that is also very motivated. The very first was paper has more patience than people, and the second quotation was given by is teachers are the most unpredictable creatures on earth. So this is also very interesting cite or saying by Annie. So the next point may be when Mr. Keesing asks her to write an essay on a chatterbox, Annie very creatively argues in the essay that talking is a student's trait and that she would try to keep it under control, but adds that her mother talks just as much. So here she wants to give the argument that it is her, you can say, by birth merit, so she can't just remove or to be silent all the time. Mr. Keesing and Annie form a good bond after her series of assignments, and she is able to bring about a change in his personality. Here you should know that Mr. Keesing gave her 3 assignments as the punishment to write about, the 3 essays as a punishment to write about the chatterbox, and also created something in that title. If we will discuss about the character sketch of Anne Frank, so the very first we will see that how many characters are here in this chapter. So the very first Anne Frank is definitely. Second, her elder sister Margot Frank, her father Otto Frank, her mother Mrs. Edith Hollander Frank, and her headmistress of Montessori School, Mrs. Cooperus, and Mr. Keesing, the maths teacher. So these were the major characters which are given in this chapter, in this extract. So basically we will see about the character sketch of Anne Frank. So let's start. Anne is a young 13-year-old when she begins to write in her diary. Like all teenagers, her life revolves around activities in school. She finds it difficult to confide. To confide means to trust in any of her friends, and takes comfort in writing in her diary. She is content with her life and has a fairly good opinion of herself. She is sensitive and has a special bond with her grandmother. She also adores her parents and sister. She gets along well with people and has many friends. She gets attached to her teachers. Annie is a thoughtful and insightful child and quite mature for her age. She is also naughty and has a great sense of humor, as is revealed in her interactions with Mr. Keesing. She is also highly creative, going by the way she completed the assignments set by Mr. Keesing. Annie can laugh at herself. She is even able to make Mr. Keesing loosen up and crack jokes in class. If we will talk about the chapter in a nutshell or the complete, so let's see what maybe the chapter gives us a peek into Annie's life through two separate entries. In the first entry, Annie explains her reasons for wanting to keep a diary. She gives a brief history of her life and decided to call her diary Kitty. In the second entry, she talks about her school, her friends, and how she gets along with most of the teachers. She also speaks of the troubles she gets into with Mr. Keesing because she is a chatterbox or she is too much talkative. So, this was the chapter in a glance. So, further, we will meet in the next video with some other content. Till then, please subscribe the channel if you didn't, and stay connected and stay tuned. Thank you.